Welcome to the Spiritual Awakening with Shaz podcast, where we unlock the power within and navigate the journey of your self-discovery together. I'm Shaz Cini, your spiritual mentor and life coach, here to help you tap into your inner guidance system and manifest your best life. Whether you're just beginning your spiritual journey or looking to deepen your practice, this podcast offers insights, techniques, and inspiration to elevate your consciousness and transform your reality. Get ready to shine your light and embrace your true potential. Remember, the answers are inside you. Let me be your guide on earth. Welcome back to the Spiritual Awakening podcast with Shaz. I'm your host, Shaz Cini. Today I'm going to take us down the rabbit hole in some ways, and we're going to be talking about who are you really? When you start to awaken up on your spiritual journey, it raises questions of who are you? Where have you come from? What are you all about? Why are you here? So I'm going to take you through a small journey on some of the tools that you may want to investigate and look up for yourself. It's different for everybody, but there are many different ways that you can discover who you really are. Everything from your astrological natal chart, your numerology, the meaning of your name. There are numbers that add up about your name, and that has significance for who you are and the different types of energy and readings that you can get based on the letters and the alphabet of your name. The access to the planets through your astrology charts and so forth, human design, personality quizzes and things like that with the Myers-Briggs quiz and so forth. I will share some books that I've used along my own spiritual journey that helped me in the beginning when I was looking for answers as to who I really was and why was I here. So I hope you join me along this journey today, and I can give you some insights about who you really are. The first thing that most people come to not know about themselves when they're growing up, and even most young children, do understand their star sign. There are 12 zodiac signs that we pay attention to. And if you can, it's usually something you ask on a first date. So what's your sign? When are you born? And it's one of the first things people try to use to discover personality traits based on the different signs. But it's not just your sun sign that really matters when you're looking at the astrological chart. To get a comprehensive understanding of a person's personality, their sun sign is about the energy that they project and who they are. Their rising sign is about who they show up as. And that is really important about how they act. So a person, my sun sign is an Aries, my rising sign is a Leo. So I show up as that courageous front runner, that leader. Don't push me, hear me roar sort of thing. That's the aspect of how my personality shows up in the world. And then add into it my personal moon sign, which I have a Scorpio moon, which is one very emotional and connected, and hence my high connection to my empath. But it's also something that emotionally, if you piss me off, I'm going to bite back and it's going to sting really, really bad. So when you're taking into account of what you think you know about the sun signs and the astrological chart of people, many people mistake me and go, oh, they're just an Aries and they have a opinion that they're blunt, they're straightforward, they're the first sign of the zodiac, and we are in Aries right now. They're leaders, they lead from the front. You know where you stand with an Aries. We don't lie to you, we don't make any mistakes sort of thing, because we're upfront in that way. But it's not the true essence of who we are. I got friends that are born on the exact same day as me, have different rising signs and different moon signs, and you would quite frankly think that we're from different planets. That's how much impact that it can have. Now, my sun sign, I am born in Aries, and my sign moves into Taurus literally 2.5 hours after I was born. That's a whole different personality. In 2.5 hours, not only can the sun sign change, but a couple of the other minor planets can have massive shifts in that arena. If you actually compare side by side the same day at different hours within the day, the planets are going to be in different houses, in different locations, especially when you're looking at things like Mercury and Venus that move through the houses much quicker. You can find out some amazing knowledge by getting a natal chart done. And there's a website on Google, astrocharts.com, that can help you go and search it out for yourself. I highly recommend it. Download the full chart and the description of the different houses and how your personality shows up in that way, because it will give you much more insight than just the generic of, if you don't understand what the different planets are in the 12 houses, how it shows up, there are some amazing people to get astrological readings from. Find an expert, find someone that you relate to, and have a natal chart reading. It will really change your whole life in understanding what you were born to do. Because that minute that we are born, there is a pathway set for us in our soul. And as you begin to awaken and come into full spiritual connection of self, those things become highly important to you, because they help you explain your soul's mission and your purpose for being here, and give you greater insights into how to navigate those lessons that you may be struggling with, and how to bring about true success, abundance, and the beauty of life that you're looking for. These is one way. This specifically is the first thing most people look at. The next thing for my mind is they start delving into numerology. Your birth date holds a specific meaning for you. That number, that life path number, has massive insight into your own personality, your life journey, how things show up for you. And then your birth date every year, the day and the month together with the current year, will tell you what life you're living. What is that number for you? 2025 is a universal 9-year. But my birthday being on the 20th of April, it's a 6-year for me. Now, 6-year is about family and connection and delving more into the collaborative of community. And I'm really looking forward to all the aspects of that, as I don't fully move into my 6-year until about 3 weeks from today, because it's my birthday this month. It shifts and changes. I'm coming to the end of the 5-year that I've just been in, that transformation, that pure change, that magnificent growth. And let me tell you, I've transformed something amazing in these past 12 months. And I'm so excited to step into that inner power of what is coming, of community, collection, and connection, to reach a wider audience, to make better connections and deep one-on-one interactions with people. Because the 5-year in a transformational self is really quite interpersonal. It's about yourself. It's about how you transform within yourself, as well as the relationships that you have with those closest to you. So the impact of that and that knowledge has helped me greatly in these past 12 months. And I am, as I said, looking forward to the next 12, because it's going to shift very quickly for me. In the numerology stakes, though, I am a life path 8, which is a leader. It is someone that is quite powerful. They want to lead from the front. They're an entrepreneur. And I've always known, ever since I was young, I had this feeling I wanted to run my own business. I didn't learn very well. Sometimes we do that though, right? So it took me a long time to step into my business, but I did finally step into entrepreneurship when I was 40, and I build that business today, and it gives me everything that I need. It fulfills me greater than anything that I've ever done. I always knew I had struggle trying to follow somebody else's orders, because I was so innovative and inventive that I had ideas of my own that I just didn't know how to put into practice. And that's the great thing about running your business, is you get to do it your way, and you get to put out there to the world what you want about it for yourself. One of the great books that I was able to use around numerology is this amazing book called The Life You Were Born to Live by Dan Millman. And in it, he goes through all the different life numbers and the life path numbers for you. Once you know your life path, it's easy. Add up the days of your birthday, the date, the month. Add those two together. There's a single digit that you need to know, because that is important as well. And then the year. Add it all together. When you realize this, the power behind it will give you all the insights that you ever need. Do the research. Come to know what an 8 life path means for you. Use the strengths and the qualities of that numerology for yourself. I'm very blessed in my own life, because numerology is something that's highly important to me. There's numerology for your date of birth. There's numerology for your name. And there's numerology for your business, your street, everything like that. So even before moving into my current residence, I did the numerology on the street address before I decided to accept it, because I needed it to be aligned with what I hope to achieve in this place. And let me tell you, it's fulfilled its wish very, very well for me, and I am appreciative of that. I learned some harsh lessons when I used to live in a 7 house, because a 7 house had all sorts of problems for me. And one of the great things, well, it's not really great, but one of the most obvious things that I found in 7 houses personally is they all have plumbing issues. And let me tell you, that house had more dripping taps than I knew what to do with, and the shower exploded and all sorts of crap. So numerology has a big impact, and you want to look at it because everything breaks back down to numbers. So I'm a 888. My birthday, my name, and the time I'm born, because I'm born at 16 minutes past 1. And all 3 of those add up to an 8. And that's a very auspicious number for me. It is very amazingly connected to me. And I know if I'm ever doing something and I want to know, is it 100% the right path? Is it definitely what I need to know? I will see 888, an 8, or the infinity symbol, because it's just the 8 on its side. And they are very important factors in my life. And I take heed of them. It's up to you how you use the knowledge of breaking down what your numbers are. If you don't know what they are, reach out and I can help you do it. I can help you with the number chart for the letters of the alphabet to work out what your name is. I recently did some study of neurosomatic dynamics, and one of the courses we were learning all the different ways the numbers of your name adds up, because you add up one aspect of your full name, then you want to add up all the consonants, then you want to add up all the vowels, and they have different meanings in the chart. I haven't finished my studies in that area yet, but as soon as I do, I will have so much more clarity on it. I have enough awareness, but it's not my focus. I just want to share these aspects with you in case you don't know who you are and you want more clarity on self. Because even with the little data that I received during the study, the change of knowing how it impacts me, knowledge is truly power, but the only power in knowledge is how you utilize it. And discovering what impact it was having and making subtle shifts changed everything in my life, and it has a massive impact. It's the same as when everyone's doing day-to-day things and you go and get a job, for instance. A lot of people do psychological tests like the Myers-Brigg, the Carl Jung test of telling you one of the 16 personality types. It really helps you to discover what type of careers are best based on your personality, because you don't want to put one type of personality in certain careers. They don't gel. Have you ever felt like you're a square peg in a round hole? That's usually because your personality is not fully aligned with what you're doing in life. And it creates discord within the psyche, and that's where we get things like depression and anxiety issues and problems within ourselves. These are things that you do want to really delve down into to discover, is it important enough for you to find the answers that you're looking for? Is it something that you want to go out and get clarity on? Or is it just general knowledge that's there for you to understand? There are people out there that can help you, and I do highly recommend seeking a professional for it. As I said, your name has some power. There is an amazing book called The Secret Language of Your Name, and it's to unlock the mysteries of your name and the birth date through the science of numerology. I've had this book for a long time and I've read bits and pieces of it. I don't fully go into it, but I did decode my own name, and that is where, before I did my studies, I had some knowledge of it. These are resources that you can use to help you uncover who you are. It is one of the biggest and most common questions that I get asked by people first navigating their spiritual journey, or even those ascending through, making massive change or ending a big era of their life, especially when they break up from different types of relationships, whether they're good, bad, or otherwise. When cycles of life comes to end, you're one person inside of a relationship, you're one person inside of a family, you're a different person outside of those groups. Losing a friendship can change you dramatically on the inside and out, whether that's by choice or by not. The death of a loved one can have a massive impact on who you are. And this is the most, as I said, the most common question that I get asked by people. Who am I? And it's the first question I ask in my coaching business. If you ever sit down with me, and especially when we start Shine with Shaz, the first thing that I want to know is, who are you? Do you really know who you are? What are your greatest strengths? What are the greatest attributes about you? What are the things that are so ingrained within you, so dominant within you? Are you aware of them or are you not? So looking into these different areas of life will give you that clarity that you may seek. Another fascinating area that you do want to look at is human design. Okay, there are 5 types of human design energies. I personally am a 4-6 generator. I don't understand the chart, but I do understand the report that I got with it. I paid $12.99 for this report, and it gave me all the insights into self. And oh my God, it changed the way that I perceive myself. And I stopped being so harsh on myself and understanding the different aspects of it. There are amazing readers out there. I have a couple of dear friends who are studying it, and it's a very powerful tool for you to help delve into what is going on within your energy. Are there blocks within your generating system? Are there aspects in the 9 areas of this practice that can help when you identify them to shift the emotional blocks, to let go of problems that are holding you back, to change the way you perceive yourself? The only thing I hope you get out of this episode is to understand there are many different ways that you can discover the true essence of self, because that is the first thing that you want to know when you awaken, the truth of who you are. Some other things that you might want to look at is the tarot can give you a great insight into your own personality. For every number that we break down leads back to a tarot card, and there are insights within that practice that can tell you about who you are. I'm an 8, which is the strength card. And let me tell you, strength has been a massive thing in my life. Did I always love being strong? Did I always love going through hardship to find that inner strength, that tenacity? Hell no. But knowing that strength is always there, it gets me through. And I have faced so much, but it enables me to go out and have courage as well. Because the other factor of that strength 8 card is the lion. And in my Leo of my rising sign, courage is phenomenal within me. Have I always used it to the best of my capacity? No, I haven't. Quite frankly, when I first did a Myers-Briggs test, I was 20-something years old, and I was working for our company at the time, and we were doing a study course, and we had to do this. And I asked the teacher, I said, some of these questions I can answer in 2 very different ways, depending on how I feel that particular day. And he tried to tell me that your core personality traits and things are solid, that's just the way you are. And I go, no, I'm completely different. And he goes, no. So I answered it in one way. So I did the whole thing in the one way of the normal way. Well, not even normal. One of the ways, all sides of my personality. And then I answered the other in the opposite. And I was an ENFJ in one, and I was an INFP in the other, which are quite dramatically different when you read the different personalities. The 2 things that don't change, my intuition and my feeling, which is my intuitive side and my empath. They are the strongest elements within me. I don't budge on those. But the introvert and extrovert, depending on what I'm doing, who I'm with, I love quiet time. I can be quite introverted, but I also can be very much an extrovert. Depends on how I feel on the day. Depends what we're talking about. Okay? If you're talking about things that I don't care about, you won't even see me in the room. You won't have any access of knowledge that I'm there. But you start discussing spirituality, things that I love, mindset, books, reading, romance novels, TV shows that I love. I have the loudest voice around there. I have an opinion, and I'm not ashamed or afraid to share it. Okay? I stand up and be noticed. I can be highly opinionated, to the point that I was so opinionated when I was younger that I would convince you the sky was pink with purple polka dots, and you'd agree with me to get me to shut up. That is how decisive and extroverted that I could be. Also, on the perception side and the judgmental side, I did have very wide dynamics on it. I had very different ways of seeing the world. One, through the lens of going through on the victim side of things, and the other through the lens of the survivor. And I have great perspective in the world of what other people have gone through, and I can see the play of the soul. In the personality test, it doesn't really go into that depth, and that's why they couldn't understand. Now, the teacher decided to test me and told me that those 2 personality types had very distinct ways of describing how to do things. And I said, yes, I can be like that. And he turned around and goes, no, you can't. No one's like that. And I said, well, ask me a question. He goes, fine, describe our room. And so I described him one side of the personality, And then he said, describe it in the other. And the detail that I could give him in the other was quite astounding. He said, just describe to me, how do you get here? And there were two ways. One, walk into the gate, go to this building, it's on the second level, this is the doorway. And he said, just describe it in the other way of how you would do it. And I told him that you come through the gate and there were 18 steps before you had to turn. And literally, I could describe it as if you were describing it to a blind person, of how many steps, how many turns, how many stops and elevations you had to do, so that if a blind person had to follow my instructions, they could get to the doorway of knowing. I knew how many steps from the gate up the stairway to the room. And he was quite astounded because he didn't feel or understand that people could be like that. So one thing that I did learn through these personality tests and so forth is you do need to take in different elements of it and accept that some people can be both at the same time. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't make you have a split personality or have a label that is distinctly wrong. I can be highly intuitive, but I also can be extremely logical. And when you take in my numbers and my astrological chart, my human design, these factors show up in that way. So as you delve deep into understanding who you are, these are some of the things. You can also look at your Akashic records, have readings done on the Akashic record to understand who you are, past life regressions, understand your past lives and how they show up and impact you in this life today. Understand what they're doing and what aspects of that are showing up for you. I personally had to go through and heal past life things to get through certain lessons in life. You also have an enneagram that you can go and investigate, and that's about the 9 core types based on like your fears and motivations and so forth. There's gene keys that you can look at, aura and chakra readings, and first and foremost, don't forget the different archetypes. Caroline Myss is amazing at talking about the different archetypes, and Carl Jung talks about them a lot in his personality and psychological aspects of life too. The archetypes are also quite interchangeable because you go through many different archetypes along this journey. You don't always stay fixed in one. They are elevation and aspects of self that will bring you greater awareness of who you are. Simply in the female terms, we go through maiden, mother, and crone. That's just generational as you grow and evolve. We're maiden when we're children and we're young and we're that young woman. We turn into motherhood, whether we go through a mother phase, whether we have children or not, right? The mother phase is about nurturing, taking care of other people and being the next level of growth for them, of being the overseer, of not being the one being nurtured to being the nurturer to take care of other people, being aware of who they are. And then through to the crone stage, the wise old woman, the wise old teacher, the support network, the one that people come to for answers. These can be based on age, but you can also filter through them. You also can traverse back and forth. There are aspects within self that you do want to find in your own self-discovery. Never limit what any of these tests or answers give you. They're not a box to put you in. They're not a label to impart onto you. They're not restrictive. They are there to guide you, to open your mind and give you a greater understanding of who you are and the areas of life that you need to grow and evolve through for your own progression on this soul journey. As you do awaken and become more aware of your soul and the higher self and the mission that you have here on earth, these will help you guide the way. That is all they're there for. Do not take them as gospel, as I'm a life path 8 and I can only be this. They are not restrictive. They are there to empower you, to uplift you, to divert you to where you are going to find the greater success, the greater happiness, and definitely the greater joy. But behind all that, that is where we find our true abundance and lessons in life. Abundance means many different things for many people. I do know that when you don't pay attention to your life path number and you're in a job or doing something that is misaligned with it, you'll create disease, be disconnected from your soul, and it will need to find a way to divert you back to where you're meant to be. This is all up to you. These tools are here for you to understand. I will post some links and the names of the books and the authors for you to go and do your own research. Find practitioners who already study this, who know about it, and get their expert guidance on it, or do your own research. There is so much that you can learn through Google, online, and especially with ChaptGPT nowadays. You want to find out something for yourself? Just go put into ChaptGPT. I'm a life path 8. Can you tell me who I am? You'll be amazed at what it comes out with. It is really great for intuitive guidance. If you tell it anything that you're stuck with, if you give it a dream that you've had and you don't know the interpretation of it, go and put it into the computer because it has so much data that it can access. But also don't forget the human aspect. There are professionals out there who deal with all of these different modalities, and these are things that you will come along. But don't allow finances or money issues to stop you from finding the results, because there's plenty out there for you to find that are free. I hope you understand and enjoyed this episode. These are just some short insights of different areas for you to look at when you are going to look at who you really are. The spiritual awakening aspect is for you to reconnect and remember your greatness, to reconnect to your soul, that part of you that loves you unconditionally, that knows exactly who you are, why you're here, and wants you to be the best version of you that you are. It is remembering that greatness, that source connection energy back to God that gives us everything we desire. We make it hard on ourselves because we forget, and we play games within ourselves, believing the limitations or the put downs that somebody else has put on us rather than fulfilling the need and the desire within us. The true answers of who you are lie within your heart and your higher self connection. If you want to know more, journal with it. One of my greatest things is to sit there in my journal and ask the questions that I want to know. Simple homework for everyone listening. Go write in your journal, who are you? And you should be able to fill 10 or 20 pages of it. Because who you are is a complex, multifaceted human being who has been here to live and experience many, many wonderful things. The whole reason why people write biographies is because life is amazing. They're not just for famous people. If you really want to discover who you are, go and do a journal along. What have you been through in life? What are the lessons that you've learned? What have you overcome? How have you grown? What have you done for people? What have they done for you? What are the experiences that you've been through? We all have stories to tell. The only problem is there's not enough of us telling them. I do encourage you to find out who you are because it is an important factor of love of self. And self-love is so important on this journey. The depression, anxiety, the heartache, the overwhelm, all of those negative feelings that you feel are because you're disconnected from your higher self and source who loves you unconditionally. They have no doubts about you. There is nothing they don't believe you can do. You have immense power within you if you just remember. And the main thing to remember is, why are you here? These resources that I've given you and these insights that I've shared today are just one way that you can discover more about you. The spiritual awakening journey is ultimately about you. Who are you? Why are you here? What are you meant for? What are you here to do? Everyone asks, what is my sole purpose? Some people it's huge and some people it's small. What are you here to do? What have you already done? Our purpose isn't necessarily one big thing. It could be many, multiple, tiny interactions with people. Giving small change to a homeless person, paying a compliment to someone in need, being a shoulder to cry on for a friend when they're grieving, picking up after someone when they've had a hard day at work. All of these things matter, and they all make up the beautiful human being that you are. And you are fucking amazing. You are phenomenal. You are limitless potential. You are everything the God Creator brought down to this earth to make an impact on the planet. Our whole goal as a soul, in my opinion, is that we are birthed onto earth to create impact, to have interaction, and to make your life or someone's life or the planet better than it was before you arrived. And we all do that simply by existing, but it can be more so. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the episode. Check out in the comments for the resources that I've got. And if you ever want some assistance, can't work out your life path number, or want some advice, feel free to reach out. Until next time. Thanks for listening to the Spiritual Awakening with Shaz podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below so you don't miss an episode. You can also follow us on Facebook with the links below. Until next time, trust your intuition and let your spirit soar.